Okay.
Okay, so let's get centered in our sacred space. And let's bring a centering within ourselves that is calm. Now let's breathe in slow, calm breaths with the intention that this is a calming exercise. Let's breathe in and out of our hearts. A divine breath in, expanding our heart energy. Another divine breath, empowering our hearts, our heart centers. And another divine breath into our heart centers, connecting all of us, heart to heart, soul to soul. And in this sacred space, let's honor all our relations from the beginning of time to the present time. They have gone before us, and they hold, those from the ancient times hold all the wisdom we are seeking. Let's take another divine breath in from our hearts up to our minds and open the mind to wisdom. And another divine breath that connects our mind and our hearts. Slow, deep breathing. We are sovereign beings. And in this sacred space, where we are protected by all our relations, all our ancestors, all light beings, all those sisters and brothers from other planets that we know. Now let's bring in a state of balance from the inside of us out. And let's see a ripple effect go out around the whole planet. A ripple of balance. A ripple of wisdom. And in our ripples, we have compassion. And kindness. And a calm that brings us empowerment. I am that I am, and I know that I am a magnificent, multidimensional being. And from this sacred space, our circle is open, and we can now bring our collective wisdom to share with each other. And so it is. Well, I am Sue, and I am from Seattle, more or less, surviving a heat wave I have not endured before. Not in Washington. Arizona, yes, not Washington. What I want to bring to the circle today, one is miracles. And by going through fear. And I've had some couple of amazing experiences being very, very still and going as deep into fear as I could. And it changed my view of fear completely. Changed my view, it changed my perspective, and it's changing me. And I'm seeing miracles. And I'm complete for now. Emma, would you like to be next?
Sure thing. I'm Emma. I'm in Western Massachusetts in Williamstown. It's interesting to watch the shift of seasons. And spring here was so lush, so green. It was as if all the plant life was plump. And almost as soon as the summer solstice arrived, and it wasn't necessarily due to weather changes, everything became a little bit more withdrawn and a little bit drier and a little bit more self-focused rather than look at me. And so there's this beautiful gradual shift, and I talked about this last week in terms of just the colors and the smells and just textures. This week it's like noticing just how the plants know how to shift themselves as the seasons change and to present themselves in the healthiest way possible for their survival. And so it's a really long way of saying something. I don't know exactly how to put it in succinct words, but maybe being able to flow with the changes. So that's what I bring to the circle. And I'll call on Kelly.
Kelly here in Portland, Oregon, working with the heat that Sue mentioned here, and absolutely loving it, actually. Working with the breath of the dragon and the fire and using it to continue to deepen my relationship with the extremities, just to really let it enliven me in a cellular way. So really embracing that, and also weaving in these elements of other people that are in my sphere and the dichotomy of these weather patterns, and how can I incorporate their medicine and my medicine at the same time. So if you're in my sphere and there's a storm going on, then I want to be able to incorporate that energy too and see what comes with that. So I'm having an absolute blast, even though it's hot and my dog's being cared for in air conditioning, so I am good. So I am enjoying transformation. Harley, I will tag you.
I want to bring in the joy of nature's power. You know, just the wonder of the waves and the wind, the heats that you're having over there, but that's unusual. So I don't know about if I can really get behind celebrating that, because it's killing your biome. That's what's happening with that. But over here, these storms are normal and natural, and this is just something that happens every 7 years or so. So I'm absolutely glorying in it. And I would like to bring that joy and the power of nature to this circle. And I will call on Cinda.
Cinda from Portland, Oregon, and I just ran in from, oh my God, a doctor's appointment and running errands outside. But you know, my dog ran out while I was unloading the groceries and laid in the sun, and it just was in pure heaven. I'm like, dude, it's 115 degrees out. What are you doing? Anyway, what do I want to bring into the group? I want to bring in inspiration. That's what I brought in last time. I'll bring in inspiration again, and I'm going to call on spirit.
Thank you, everyone. It is so divine to be here. Thank you, Sue, for opening up with what you want to bring to the group. It spoke to me on so many different dimensions, especially me dealing with fear, and it's getting better, but just to step into my mission. It's the little fear that's stopping me, like me, that whisper that it's a little bit back there that you're not enough. And I also want to bring it in a good way, owning my power. And the power is not a power of control. It's a power of liberation that can help people on my mission, and seeing how powerful and profound it is. And also what I want to take is, and I'm getting chills, is being present. And I got an angel number that I never received before. And it said for me to celebrate, even though there's things that I need to do, but especially some of you that know me in a group, wow, from April of last year, it's been a year and a lot of profound things are going on. And my angels and ancestors and all my teams are here, and they just like keeping me up and above. And I got that message today to celebrate. And I live in spirit realm a lot, but I went and bought some snacks that I normally don't eat. I bought a candy bar. It's dark chocolate. I bought some vegan snacks, and I just want to be present and celebrate. And just, even though I have fun, I'm going to turn it up a little bit more. And I am complete. And I call in my dear sister, Audrey.
Hey, thanks, Spirit. Let's see. I'm still in process of doing my thing here with the book, but it's really in progress, and I've been present. I've been present with it and showing my authenticity in the world, and been teaching. I taught a class on psychic development, and I've been having clients finally. Woohoo! So I'm like rejoicing in that, and I'm ready to learn magic and bring it into my life. And so with the group today, I bring in authenticity, and I tagged Linda.
Thank you. Linda from San Diego. Probably of all of you, it's probably the most perfect weather right now. But I want to share it with you. I feel like I'm sending you the 75-degree beautiful weather. So what I'd like to call in, and it just came to me because I didn't want to think about it. I wanted it to come. Where I sit with my computer to do classes and to talk to clients and all kinds of things, there is this mother avocado tree. I call her a mother because she produced about 180 avocados this year. She was definitely birthing. And I have this incredible, not only connection to her, but to all trees. The power of the plants is unbelievable. And that's what I want to call in, is the power of the plants as our allies and friends. Yeah. And Sharon.
Okay, sitting with all of you in our various places what an opportunity to be here, right? And what I've been playing with is the starting of the memory of in water, what water holds, and then I realized that all the elements hold memories. And where is the memory most pristine? Because that's what I want to bring forward, and let that memory
transform the memories of pain. So I want to bring in the memories held, the codes held within the intelligent field we call water, that we call earth, that we call air, that we call water and air and fire and plants. They hold the original codes. And I want to call those into our circle. And then I call on, I think, are we through? Arlie, yep, you've gone. I think we're finished. Sue, I turn it back over to you.
Thank you. So I have 4 pens here and they're not working. So I didn't get to write everything down. It's okay, great. Lots about elements, lots about energy. And in our circle today, whether we travel into the future or travel into the past, we're seeking the wisdom that will help us in the present time. That we stay in our power, we celebrate our life, we connect to each other, and we share with each other, so that no matter what it is we're dealing with, we are able to deal with it. Sisters of a Sacred Circle. So let's go into our meditation. Let's just allow our higher selves to take us where we need to go. Let's be open to our intuition. Let's be open to the messages of all the elements, and especially Earth Gaia. She holds an enormous amount of wisdom and information, as we all do. We hold ancient wisdom. And if we are going into our meditation open to receiving that which we need to know, that which will benefit each of us in our own way, and then bring it back and share it, then we have fulfilled our mission for being in circle. So let us go as deep as we can. And when you're ready, then you may come back. And if you will just open your video so we can see you. And enjoy your journey. Do we need a few more minutes? I think we're all back. Sharon, do you need a little more time? Okay, it looks like we're all back. Linda, do you want to start us off?
I'm still trying to make sense of, I sort of lost. I was like in the experience and not easily brought back. So I'll tell you what I wrote down, which doesn't begin to completely explain it. I felt like I was traveling in a nonlinear way. Sometimes there were things that showed up, but I can't remember them. You know, could have been in a galaxy kind of way, or it just seemed another dimension, let's put it that way. And feeling ancestors all around, but not just my direct lineage from my blood, but ancestors seemed like from millennia, you know. And then finally, I felt this sense of lineage through the plants, which is interesting because normally we all think, well, we just came back to original humans, but we actually come from the plants. That's something I've known for a bit. And then finally, a sense of real stillness in all that movement that had gone on, just being very still. So that's what I brought back. And Cinda.
It just felt so good to close my eyes. And then I was traveling and I just realized that I was shown one element after the other. And I just decided to bless each element with love and gratitude, peace and joy and forgiveness and grace. And and may this heat, may the sun shine that blessing down on all that feel the heat. And then I would bless the water, and then may you cool and calm. And then anyway, so just one, then I did the plants. Thank you, Linda, for bringing them in. And I did all the animals, and it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. So Sharon.
Holding space. What I was shown how we've put the staff in the ground for zero tolerance of outsiders. And that staff is firm and is beginning to open doors so that gifts, passions can expand in greater safety. So it was just acknowledging that for what we've been doing. And then they said, but what we need you to do is to recognize there's 3 major constructs that have that need a special attention to be released, to move off another major sweep of outsider parasitics. So we did time travel, where there were some that had been kidnapped away, some had made contracts to not move forward until those who had been injured were healed. And there were contracts that some of our family members intentionally, I call them turncoats, intentionally gave permission to the outsiders to come in, and under their dual citizenship, if they will, they would hold the authority to allow the outsiders to stay. So there were some major, and they were major. We've dealt with a lot of that, but these seem to be very, very major. And so they said, and we want for the heat to call in the heat to burn and transform. Usually they have me do the planes, but they wanted the heat to be used in that way. And then to anchor more strongly the vibration of zero tolerance, but more importantly, the vibration of passions, ideas, dreams being we've said fearlessly created and manifested and supported in safety. And so that's what I was shown and did. Arlie.
Well, this was kind of short and sweet. I was definitely taken by your word, Sharon, on the memory of the other elements. I hadn't visited that for a long time. So I went off and, stopped off and visited fire, and went to water, and water showed me that not only does it hold its own memory, but since it lives so completely intimately with all of the life forms in it, it also can hold, have, repeat, share the memories of seaweed and fish and little microplankton and whales and so on and so forth. But then because I was in the water, I started riding the storm and it's going on all around me, and I got a little carried away in the fun. And I was told quite clearly after a while that, let's see, how did that go? I need to focus on the memory of rock, not the earth, rock. Which, having communicated with rock before, I know that this takes patience. Rock speaks in long time spans to get one little thing out. So apparently there's something in communing with rock that I need to know, get, understand, learn, and possibly bring back and share. But that's where I went, and that's what I did. And I'm going to call on Kelly.
So, been working with metals along with the other elements and things that I've been shown recently to work with silver specifically. So I've been weaving with silver, but they showed me all the other elements and I've been acquiring all of them. So I have all my gold and silver. I have my silver. I don't do sparkly things. I'm not a sparkly girl, but I have all my threads and I'm sleeping with silver. I have silver anywhere. I don't wear jewelry. This is it, all these things. So anyway, what they did is they took me on a tour of the creation of metals. So I saw the periodic table, the 7 sacred metals, copper, which I work with. I don't have lead or tin, but I'm to acquire lead or tin and tin both to work with them. I have everything else. But to work with them in unison and to understand how those metals came to be, what created the copper, what created the gold, what created the silver. But to me, silver is very ethereal. It's the silver threads of time. But that I needed to work with that alongside working with each of the elements, the earth, water, wind, fire, but really in close relation to where was the fire in creation with the metals inside the rocks, because that's how they're mined, right? So anyway, it's a dance, and that's where I dance today. And I will tag Audrey.
Okay, so mine didn't have anything to do with elements, but my grandmothers met me, which I've never met them in person. And they put me in a wedding gown, and they took me and they placed me in the sky, in the air. And there I stood in this full wedding gown with this long train that flowed through the sky, and it flowed and it made steps. And they told me to feel the freedom of my divine feminine sovereignty. And then they gave me a drink from the chalice of remembrance. And all this time I'm like, but what am I doing up here? And I was like unsettling that I was like up here with as a divine feminine. And that's when they gave me the chalice to drink from the remembrance. And then I had such a sense of peace, knowing that I was a part of the divine feminine and owning that sovereignty. And they told me, as a bride dresses in fine garments and adornments on her wedding day, her heart is filled with joyful anticipation, love, and celebration. Remember to welcome each day with this type of joy, love, and anticipation. Each new day is a gift of newness, and your sovereign, feminine, divine remembers with wonder. Your life is unfolding in ways that are unimaginable. And that was the message. So, Spirit.
Thank you, Audrey. That was beautiful. I'm going to start out by saying, just before I got on the call, I just came back from doing my groceries, and I don't have a car now. Had a beautiful car in the relationship, but I don't have a car now. So I had to take an Uber, and then maintenance had to come up, and they had to plunge my sink because it got stopped up. So he just left, and I was like, oh my God, 505, But that journey was kind of about self. When I close my eyes, I'm a music girl, and there's messages in music. So I heard one of my favorite artists, and thank you, Sharon, for sharing so much. Everybody has their tools set up what they need. So they knew I wasn't going to be able to get anywhere. So they gave me profound music. So I heard one of my favorite artists, Mary J. Blige, sing Love Is All You Need. That is one of her songs. So I went on that mental Rolodex of what does the song say? Love is all you need to make everything complete. All you need is LOVE. So I sat there in that song, being present for a while. And then Spirit was like, have a party today. So I'm going to play that song and have a party. And when I play music, they'll send me another song that I need. It's like a magic jukebox from Spirit. So after they told me to have a party, they told me to get up and eat my chocolate bar, right? So I'm thinking I'm being disobedient, but this is part of the journey, I'm like, but I'm not in meditation, Spirit. What do you mean? And they're like, stop being so strict. So I ate my chocolate bar. Then I heard this, after I ate the chocolate bar, some of it, I heard a poem that I think I shared before that are on the temple walls, and I'm going to repeat it, especially as women in female bodysuits. It goes, I am a woman who lightens the darkness. I have come to lighten the darkness. It is lightened. I have overcome the destroyers. I am here for those who weep, who hide their faces, who sunk down low. They looked upon me then. I am a woman, I am a healer, and we rise again. So I was like, okay. And then they took me back to the love is all you need. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm sitting at the desk and I wrote, my goal is to be an international speaker too, as well, to share these messages along my line of doing things. And when I was out the house on the road for 2 months, I worked with a woman that helped me do my speech. Now, my speech was for once, surrendered to the great divine to give me the words. And they gave me a title. And the title was sitting right next to me after I came out of medication. And it said, The Journey to Find the Greatest Love of All. And they said, look at that. Now, the woman, when I came up with that speech, she was like, you're not there yet. And I wasn't there yet, but the name was still good. Now, Spirit said, think about that. Now, look how you're flying now. And there's a part in that song, The Greatest Love of All, by Whitney Houston and I think it was George Benson sang that song first. No matter what they take away from me, they can't take away my dignity. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. Then Spirit took me on this journey of, when you left the house, August 5th, he took everything. The car, the home, didn't even leave me with a phone. And it was just my clothes that was delivered to me. But I did not let it make me bitter. I used my tools and just went. And now that I am here learning to love myself, and us as women in female bodysuits, the more and more I love myself is the more and more my team, I'm able to be with them and have fun, and just learning that I was just loving myself and watching these, and like us as female bodysuits, like once you see that we're learning we're enough and shed all that and let this divine love just come in, I'm seeing that this is why all the magic is happening. And I have my divine sisters that we're coming in our sacred circles together and telling our stories. But they just showed me that that is one message that you have to share. We all have our own way of self-love, and it's not the material. And that is the key to just letting all this divine life, and it's forever going. We're never there. Once we hit one plateau, there's another one, because we are forever evolving. But it was just a divine journey. Just even though they took away everything they thought in the material that was there, that was a facade, that was about ownership, it wasn't about love. But just to know that the power of self-love and self-healing, and having a sacred circle of women coming together in union to help one another share our ways of self-love. And I know that was a lot, but I'm just so ecstatic, and I'm going to have a party to celebrate my journey and coming together with all you women. And thank you. I am complete. I tag Cinda.
Already went. Take someone else.
Sorry, I'm in bliss right now. Linda, did she go? Okay. Sue, did you go?
Thank you, Spirit.
Okay.
So just want to give a little pause for that share. It really touched my heart and brought up the fear of being empowered. If we weren't afraid of our power, we'd all be in it. And on my journeys are so different than they were a few months ago. It's not about where I'm going. It's about trusting the process and feeling it. And I saw compassion like a wave, riding the wave of compassion. It's a frequency. And all of the beautiful qualities, as I see them, they're all beyond the human worlds. They're beyond the human consciousness. They're all beyond the human condition. They're not even part of the human world. Riding the wave of compassion, and through that meeting the wisdom. And I could just feel it this time, that we all hold all the ancient wisdom from our lifetimes from 1,000,000 years ago, from our ancestors. It's all in consciousness. It's, you can't destroy consciousness. It's there. And what I was feeling is that the elements are responding to our transformation from depending on people, places, things outside of ourselves, and being in conflict from our egos, to choosing to live from our heart and all the qualities that are within our spiritual heart centers. There's enough of us, it's strong enough, it's powerful enough, and the feeling was that Gaia's responding. And it's kind of like the elements are dancing. I think they're singing spirits songs. It may seem that it's out of balance. It may seem that it's dramatic, traumatic, and scary, but somehow it's a rebalancing. And that's what I was feeling, is that the elements are responding, Gaia is responding, and we're all in transition. And then I remembered last week, a woman told me I've been working with that her husband walked up to her and said, "What's the matter with me?" Shocked her. She's been telling him for years what's the matter with him. The doctors have told him. He never heard a word of it. He asked, and she said, "You have about 10 diseases, but only one of them is going to kill you. And that's the disease of denial." And he stood there for a while and he said, "Don't buy me any more donuts. I'm going to change my diet." And he's different. He was slated for a wheelchair. He has dementia. He isn't going to, he doesn't participate, and he's changed. And I believe that's what we call awakening, from a state of not being present, trapped in a belief or even sometimes what we call a curse, but trapped. And if he can come out of it, others are coming out of it. And that's all part of what we've been talking about today. And I just want to cry, because something incredibly powerful is happening. And it's so much more than we can imagine. And when we are out of conflict, the parasitics can't touch us. And I can't, I think I'm complete. I can't even talk anymore. So Sharon?
Thanks, Sue. I already went.
I know, I'm gonna let you close. I've
Oh.
lost my mind.
Got it. Okay. I was going to call on somebody else if I could figure out who hadn't gone. So let's just sit in the quiet and the remembrance of what's been spoken and anchored and claimed for this moment, forward, backward, all time. And in that stillness of that quiet place, each of you give yourself permission in our imagination to dance, to sing, to jump. The expansion is here calling you. And just look around and see this circle as representation of all. We give thanks to all those who have been walking with us from our birth, through our awakening, through our pain, through our struggles, through the last 1.5 years, 2 years together here. We have stood with them at our back. We have climbed because of the shoulders of those who have gone before. And as we feel that lift and expansion, we call all of them in that net of love. We are lifting and freeing and expanding and being joyful together instantly. Thank you all for being who you are. Thanks for all those who in the unseen have held our circle today. For all those who have guided us individually today. And our circle is now closed, and the energy we've created broadcast through the Tesla towers, through all time, dimensions, reality, worlds, and forms. And so it is. Okay, my loves. So you can unmute, give everybody hugs and kisses and wonderful things, right? Until we meet next week, or until we meet when we meet, because we bump into each other a lot, which is great. So love you guys.
Thank you, Sue.
Butterfly hug.
Love you all.
Sue, that was
Thank you,
lovely.
Sue. It was phenomenal.
Wonderful.
Bye.